Well, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Filter. I am your host, Patrick Weaver Blog. I apologize for sounding a little raspy today. Things got a little overly exciting during the national championship game last night. So we are recording this the day after Alabama lost the national championship, and I am in a state of mourning today. So lower the flags to half mast, please. But I'm super excited to be sitting down today with a friend of mine, somebody that I have come to grow a very great friendship with over Instagram. We have been trying for months to sit down and talk, and finally our schedules aligned. She is an Ohio influencer who started her blog to give you healthier alternatives to all of your sweet and salty cravings and discuss geriatric surgery. So with that being said, I want to welcome my friend Maddie to Behind the Filter. Hey, sister.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, you're always welcome here. Also, I think I just said geriatric surgery, and that is not correct. That geriatrics is like old people, right?
Yeah, that's what I work with though too. I'm a nurse.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah. Oh, bariatric surgery. Okay, Barry, not Jerry. I'll get it one day. I was never that good at science or anything of the sort.
it's a long word. It's
I
okay.
know. I honestly, I don't know anything about the medical field. Like, I don't know how.
And today you get a free pass. You're mourning.
Yes, I'm mourning today. It's a good, it's a good thing that I dyed my hair dark again, because I'm, just gonna catch me in black for the rest of the year. But I'm actually so excited to sit down with you. I think that you have such a phenomenal story, and I think that what you do is so outrageously cool. And so I don't know if people tell you this all the time, but like, I really think that you are changing lives. And I think that you are so important on social media and in the current climate and the way that our culture is looking at fitness and health. I think that people like you are so important. And so I just want to say, from me to you, thank you for all that you do. And let you know that you're pretty freaking rad.
Thank you. That means so much.
Of course. And I mean, of course I'm your friend. So like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm friends with this girl that I don't really like. Like, no. So of course I already like you, but I want to like talk about the early beginnings. So when you first decided I'm going to launch a website, I'm going to have a blog, like how old were you? What were you doing? Like, why did you decide to jump into this industry? Because I think we all have to be a little clinically insane to want to do this. It's a little terrifying to do, so talk me through that process just a little bit and how you got started.
Okay, so actually, it was after I had gastric bypass surgery. So there's two kinds of bariatric surgeries. There's the gastric sleeve and the gastric bypass surgery. So I had gastric bypass surgery in June of 2017. And I have struggled with my weight since I was little. And I always kind of just thought the bariatric surgery was for people who were 600 pounds and who were people that you see on my 600-pound life. And so I thought, like, that would never be for me. Like, I would never qualify for that. Like, I'm a full-time nurse, and that would never be for somebody like me that lives a pretty normal life, but is morbidly obese. And so when I realized that I could not fit into a baseball stadium seat, and it was very uncomfortable for me. I was 338 pounds, and I had reached the point where I had tried everything. And so I reached out to a bariatric surgeon and decided I'm going to go just see what it's about. And I was not super active on Instagram at the time. That was kind of like 6 years ago. And it was more just Facebook times. I had a personal Instagram, which is Maddie5088. This is still my personal Instagram.
I'm the same way. I use my personal. I didn't feel like starting from scratch.
Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to take these like 400 followers that I have and see where it goes. So, I was doing great after surgery. I had lost 160 pounds. And then I was diagnosed with a rare neurological condition called hemiplegic migraines. They mimic strokes. And I was off work for 2 months. And off of my nursing job, I'm a hospice nurse. And while they were figuring out what was wrong, they said, we don't know if you're going to be able to go back to work as a nurse. And I was like,
God.
I'm like a busy bee. Like, I'm just like you, Patrick. I'm so busy. Like, I'm so used to going,
Yeah.
go.
I don't know how to be any other way than to constantly like just be on the move. It's so hard for me to like find a moment to like sit and be still because I'm of this mindset. And I don't know if it's maybe just our generation is like this too. I feel like if I'm not doing something, then I'm wasting my time and wasting my life. And I'm thinking like my time is actually money. So if I'm not, working or, going and doing something, I'm missing out on opportunities, on money, on fun times, on relationships. So I get it. You and I are both very busy bees.
Yeah. So I was like at home one night and I just remember thinking like, I'm going to start a blog. And maybe it was my crazy brain telling me like, I'm going to start a blog. And I remember thinking, okay, well, I'm going to do like affordable fashion and beauty because that's what everybody was doing in 2018. And
everybody's still doing it.
Yeah, everyone was doing it. I remember like one of the first accounts that I found was like Dress Up Buttercup and Alexa Anglin, who I've talked to like many times.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I've lost all this weight. I feel like I kind of could look like them now. Like, I'm going to do that. So, I did that for 6 months and failed miserably. Like my account did not grow at all. And I remember sharing a before and after of me, and I got like 2,000 followers. And I threw up some like gastric bypass, bariatric friendly hashtags. And everyone was like, what did you do to lose that weight? And I was like, well, I had bariatric surgery. Like, this isn't just from like, this isn't from like an eating plan. Like my stomach is the size, it's little now. And like I had bariatric surgery. So I had so many messages of people saying like, I had bariatric surgery too. Like, I'm like you. And like, what's your diet like now? And like, what kind of recipes do you like to eat? And just like so many people were like, oh my gosh, like I found somebody who also had bariatric surgery. And so then as I kind of was looking around like at those hashtags, I found out that there were other people that were sharing their story too. And so in like a couple more months, I think there was like 10,000 followers. This was in June of 2020. And so I started my blog in like May of 2019. And then in the next 6 months, there was maybe like 10,000 people on Instagram. And within the next like year and a half, there's like almost 40,000 people.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it came about. I always say that it kind of happened a little bit by accident as far as like what I was going to share.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, there's something that's very interesting that you said is like everyone does affordable fashion and beauty. Like that's just, I think everybody's a little scared to branch out into certain types of niches. And I think people think, oh, if I niche down, like I'm not going to have like a massive audience. And it's like people that have these massive audiences were so concentrated in on that small niche of affordable fashion and beauty way before everybody else was. That's why they're so big and they can still do that. I think that's something too that people, I don't necessarily understand about our industry and us as influencers, as people who are constantly, putting our lives out into the open. That's something that we think about is like, while this is fun for us and it's, a creative outlet, it's also a business and you have to know how to market your business and your business is yourself. So I think it's very cool though, that you kind of stumbled into this whole community of people who are just like you. And it was, like you said, by accident. I am very open on my social media and on my blog about basically everything in my life. I
love how open you are.
I just would rather like just call it like it is. Like I will tell everybody everything. I'll probably put my own scandals out there before I get canceled. Like, I'm like uncancelable right now because like everything bad that I've ever done or said in my life is like on the internet somewhere somehow.
My mom, my sister, my neighbor, they're all like your biggest fans.
Oh my God, stop.
My mom's obsessed with you.
Oh my God.
My mom follows you. She loves you.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Stop. Oh my God, I'm like emotional today. Don't make me cry.
She loves your white boots. They're her favorite.
Oh my God. And those are my mother's least favorite shoes that I own.
My mom loves them.
They're the most comfortable shoes and they're from Amazon. And they are so comfortable and I'm obsessed with them. But, so you being so open about having, gastric bypass, like, was that a kind of an easy or a hard thing for you to kind of share at first? Were you worried about how people would take it? Or, was it just kind of easy? Like, yeah, I had the surgery. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to throw it out there to everybody. Did that intimidate you or make you nervous at all?
So talking about this surgery didn't intimidate me at all. I think too, when I decided that I was going to have the surgery, I've always been pretty strong in like my beliefs and what I decide. Once I decide something, it is like, I am doing it. Yep. And if you support me, that's great. If you don't, see you later.
Yeah.
The scariest thing for me was when I decided to share like the photos and stuff of my excess skin. I got a lot of my inspiration for that from the Bird's Papaya.
Oh my God, I love her. I love her.
She's the queen. Like,
I adore her. I love her so much. She's one of my favorite people that I follow.
Yes. So there was a picture of her because when I'm standing up straight and even if I don't have shapewear on, you can't tell that I have a lot of excess skin. So I would get messages a lot of like, you lost all this weight and you don't have excess skin. And I was like, but I do. And people were like, but you don't look like you do. And I was like, okay, I need to show people that I do, because this is like looking like a false preset. And this is, I'm looking like I don't, but I do. So I need to show, my audience of people that I do, that I'm like them too. Yeah. And that was when I decided to like do a plank in a sports bra and underwear and show that I have like 2 inches of skin that hangs on my stomach and my arms. And that was like, that was scary to me. And I got so much support from everyone. And Sarah from the Bird's Papaya reached out and was like, I'm so proud of you. And it was just a really like, that was scary.
Yeah. I think too, that people oftentimes have this assumption about us. We live our lives on the internet. We, post things like you and I post our insecurities. We talk about, things all the time on there that other people wouldn't. I think that people have this preconceived idea about us that like, we're just immune to being anxious or of being, worried about, what someone's going to say. I want to understand a little bit about maybe some of the negative of being, in this type of thing. But we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back with just a little bit more with Maddie. Alrighty, we are back with Maddie. So I'm very open with everybody. I get a lot of hate every day. It's especially been like the hate I get on TikTok is so vicious and so mean. Like people on TikTok are scary mean to other people. But I constantly get, homophobic messages. I get racist stuff because I put myself out there, big supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement. I get a lot of hate and I'm just kind of immune to it a little bit, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't sting, because I could have 1,000 comments that are amazing and supportive, but I'm always going to harp and go back to the way that those 10 negative ones made me feel. So, did you receive a lot of negativity on, your Instagram or TikTok, or how's that been for you? Because we all get a level of it, but I'm just wondering what that experience has been like for you too.
So I haven't much except recently. So I recently had in the last year at this time, I was dating someone, and he was a physician. He was going through a divorce, and he lost his job and he took his own life. And then I remember you knew
I was
about
about to say, oh my God, I remembered that. I had completely forgotten about that.
And so I kind of started, and then I connected with his brother and dated his brother for 5 months long distance. So I've had a little bit of a crazy 5 years.
Yeah. It's just it's a crazy time in the world.
Yes. And so about a few months ago, I had posted just like a reel about like dating after losing half of your body weight. Like I saw that going differently in my mind. And that video has almost 10 million views. And I didn't say anything about like my dating history, but so I got so many comments and people were saying like, well, yeah, after losing half your body weight, like you could use your excess skin as a condom. You could use, I mean, so many comments. So, and honestly, some of them were clever. And I was like, wow, that's pretty clever comment.
I do appreciate a clever, somebody that's trying to like make a dig. And I'm like, that was really original.
That was one of the most clever ones. So what did I do?
But hold on. I gotta just pause for a second. What? Like the fact that someone would say something like that?
And then people were like, imagine what her body looks like under those clothes after losing 170 pounds. And so I got some hate on that one. But here's the thing. So that's another thing when I'm like, when something like that goes viral, it can be a little harsh.
Yeah.
However, I'm kind of an asshole. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Honey, you're allowed to say whatever. I drop the F-bomb normally like every other day. I'm trying to work on it because a friend of mine was like, I love listening to your podcast, but you drop the F-bomb so much. And I was like, listen, I'm sorry. When you come around me, you better be wearing the full armor of God because you just never know what's going to come out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. So no, you're fine. I'm an asshole too. It's okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to use these hater comments for content. So I like made a video.
Round of applause. Love it. We love to see it. Love to see it. I've done the same. I took a bunch of like hate comments and hate messages, and a lot of it was like about my physical characteristics, like yours, And so I did kind of like half and half of like what I think about myself on a daily basis and the negative self-talk versus this is what my DMs and my comments are filled with every day. So yeah, it can be freaking hard to do this. Mm-hmm. It can be freaking hard to want to get out of the bed in the morning because everybody's being a fucking asshole to me all the time. And I'm an asshole to myself. So like, let me just everybody chill, be kind. So, but I used the same thing. And that is I think that post had like 700 likes on Instagram. It was like got picked up by a couple of news sources. I was like, this is insane. But you took them and used them for content. We love to see it.
During that, I really had like a moment of realization that was like, if I'm going to continue to do this, like I'm going to get like some haters. They don't know me as a person. And so I'm either going to be able to accept it and let it like run off my back, run off my shoulders. And that's that. Like that's what it is. And so I really don't pay them too much attention. If I do, I use them for content. And 99% of the people that I get messages from are really great and supportive. And you're always just going to have those jerks. Like you just really are.
Yeah. I've always said like, you can't police people from being an asshole. Like there's nothing that you can do. Sometimes people are just going to be an asshole. Yeah. I used to feel so bad about blocking people because I would be like, oh my God, they're going to get pissed off and then they're going to come with like an army of people and they're going to attack me. Now I'm like, block them and bless them. I don't give a damn. You're blocked. Goodbye. You're canceled. Goodbye. I don't have time for it. If you're going to try to bring negativity into this community that I have spent years of my life cultivating and creating.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
No, I am the mayor of this town.
Yeah.
And what I say goes. Okay. I am the president. Thank you very much. You are just here, but this is not, we don't do that here. And so now I block and bless them and I don't care. But I grew up very bullied in South Alabama. Like I was bullied for the vast majority of my life. Someone as fabulous as me. How? What? Yeah. Not very.
I would have given anything to go to high school with you, Patrick.
Honestly, it's so funny because I remember like being in high school, this little closeted gay boy in a small town in South Alabama. And like, I danced and I was in musical theater and I did choir and I was in the band. And I would always think like, I just can't wait to get to college so I can just be myself. And now I'm like, I look back at photos of me from then. And it's just like, there's just no joy in my face. There's just no sense of, joy in my life. Not to say like my entire life was terrible and I had the most horrible childhood. Like I had a very great childhood in comparison to other people. But now I just get to like be myself and I get to share it with the whole world. And I'm just like, if you don't like me, that's fine. Because like, I really, really freaking love myself now. And so I really don't care if, you don't like me, if you have a negative impression of me, like that's on you. And I will give you a little piece of, of advice from the queen herself, RuPaul. If they ain't paying your bills, pay those bitches no mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if you're not paying my bills, really don't know what to tell you, because like I really just don't care. So but yeah, it can be kind of hard to navigate the nastiness when you first start out. I remember the first hate comment that I ever got. I will never forget it. I would never like posted about me putting on makeup. Like I did it all the time. And like, I grew up as a competitive dancer. I was contouring these cheekbones when I was 14. Like I knew what I was doing. But I had a lot of, texture on my skin. I had a lot of, discoloration and hyperpigmentation. And so I'd wanted to hide all of that, but I never felt like I could wear makeup because I live in the South and like, men don't do that. And I was suddenly like, you know what? I don't give a damn. Jeffree Star does it. James Charles does it. Manu MUA does it. I'm gonna do it. And I'm just going to be me and be happy. And so I posted like very first, like little, like Instagram IGTV video back in the day, when that was all the, the craze before Reels and TikTok. It got 19,000 views in like 2 days. And I was like, holy my God, like, I don't know what to do. And I'll never forget the first hateful comment on there was like, you're a Jesus Christ, go be a man, take this shit off. And I clicked on this woman's profile and it literally said, faith-based businesswoman, had like 2 different Bible verses. And then she was public. So I scrolled down and I found this photo of her. She was like, it was like a mirror selfie of her, which like, ew, disgusting. I included that when I replied. I was like, mirror selfies are done, honey. And she was the caption was like, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? And I commented and I said, when I look in the mirror, I see a bad bitch who knows how to contour their face a lot better than you, who is kind and who loves Jesus and who would never act this way to people on the internet when I'm a father of 3, like you're a mother of 2.
Right. I'm still stuck on the faith and the 2 Bible verses.
It's always the people with the Bible verses in their captions that are in their bios that are so freaking mean.
Every time.
What are you talking about? Like, like you and I are both, followers of Christ. Yeah. I'm going to sit here and I'm about probably the worst Christian that there ever probably could be on, some days, but like my faith is very important to me. And like, do I share a lot of like Bible content and stuff like that? No, but like I do share a lot when I think it's relevant, when I think that, the Lord has put me through something, or if I feel like I need to talk about something that the Lord's put on my heart. And so but I don't shove my, relationship with Jesus down people's throats, because I don't think
you're not a bully and unkind.
Exactly. I'm never going to be like unkind. I'm never going to get on there. And I mean, good God, especially during this last election, the amount of like nasty, like people that would come at me because I was such a staunch supporter of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And in the election, they were like, you aren't a Christian then. And I'm like, hold up. That's not how that. Did you ever read the Bible? Because that's not how that works. Like, right. I don't think it says anywhere in the Bible that I'm not a Christian if I voted for a Democrat. So, right. I think you need to read the Bible.
You're like, I beg to differ.
I was like, there's a lot of reasons why I vote the way that I do based off of the way that I believe. So, like, you really want to start this with me today? Because like, there's always.
You're like, do you want to go there?
Do you want to go there, bitch? Because I've worked in politics, for the last 5 years. Like I've worked on 2 presidential campaigns. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm very, very okay with having to read you to filth on this right now. So like, don't start with me. Because if you start with me, I'm going to end it very quickly. But it's a fine line in between arguing with people that are trolling sometimes. But sometimes I just think it's so interesting. I'm just like, I have time today. I'm bored. I'm pooping. I got 15 minutes to spare. Let me go through here real quick. And I'm like, here you go. Da, 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 da. And I just like go after people. But I always like think it's so fun to just kind of like troll them back, you know, but like in a way that's not degrading or mean, you know, like
you can tell them off without raising your voice.
Exactly. And I oftentimes try to like not use profanity in it either, because then it's even better. But one thing that you said, it just reminded me of, you know, some of these hateful comments are kind of, you know, interesting. You're like, oh, that's creative. I had somebody the other day I had this TikTok go viral and it's at like 1.9 million views. And it's like,
I saw it.
Yes. Okay. And so, I mean, you know, if you don't follow me on TikTok, it's at Patrick Weaver Blog. You should do that.
You should follow him everywhere. I love that.
It's literally, I'm very open. It's not like a bunch of like brand deals and sponsored ads on my TikTok. Like that's my fun place. Mm-hmm. And I just did a whole video on how I was kind of a slut in college with a lot of closeted fraternity men. And like, sorry, like it's just what happened. But somebody commented on there and I had tried out a new self tanner, did not work very well for me. I was trying to like blend it all in and like tried to use a different foundation. And then I was like, oh no, I look really orange in this, but like, who cares? Like, I'll just own it. Like, I don't care. It's TikTok, you know? And half the time I don't expect for this stuff to go viral. So I was like, whatever. This one specific one goes viral. And there's a comment and this person said, this man really used the Donald Trump themed palette today while getting ready. And I was like, oh no, I earned it. So I was like, I earned that. I earned it. Orange, white, literally just like Donald Trump, orange and white, like a candy corn. And I was like, oh my God, I earned it. I earned it. So it was quite interesting too.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. So I do want to talk about this too. So I want to talk about some problems or things that you think our industry needs to improve on that, you know, maybe people don't really think about. One of those things is that, and I think a lot of people are starting to catch on to this, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Influencers will lie to you about what size they are to appeal to a certain demographic and audience. I have found so many times, because I know a lot of these people in person. I know a lot of these people personally. I've seen them in person. Girl, you are not wearing a size small.
Right.
You're not wearing a size small. I'm sorry. You're not. If I can compare you to somebody else that I know is a size small, baby, you're not wearing a size small. There's this like culture of like lying about body types and sizing. And it's like, why? Number one, why? Number two, it's so detrimental to people that come to, you know, people like you and I with just normal body types, or people that have struggled with weight in the past, or people that have negative body image issues. It's so degrading and it's so not okay. And I don't know if you have thoughts on that from your perspective of, you know, weight loss. I have perspective on it because I am an eating disorder survivor. So, but I'm interested to know if you have any thoughts on that and that kind of issue that we see all the time these days.
I think too, one of the biggest things that I see is like, you know, a lot of these really big name influencers, you never see a mid-size big name influencer.
Yeah.
And you can't help but wonder if these, you know, bigger brands don't like to partner with like a mid-size influencer. They partner with everyone who is a size small and a size 4 or 6.
And until 2 years ago, we're white.
Yeah.
So sorry, continue. To throw that
Which
one
is
out there.
Very true. Yeah, that's so true.
I'd throw it out there.
And I'll be the first one to say, like, hey, I had to size up in this shirt because my excess skin won't allow it to go over my love-in.
Yeah.
Because I know how it feels to receive a shirt in the mail and it runs small. And that's really frustrating, especially with shipping times right now. So I can't stand when somebody is not being honest with like their size.
Insane.
I in the past couple of years, I really changed a lot of like influencer accounts that I followed, I think because of like the pandemic. And I was following, I don't know if you know Lindsay and Co. She's off of Instagram now.
There's so many people that are getting out of it. It's like people are just like, hey, I'm exiting. I'm done with this now. Like,
yeah,
it's a little insane what's happening right now.
yeah. And some of them were really really great. Like I loved Lindsay and Co. She was a physician's assistant and worked and she was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. So I'm really against people not being truthful with like when they have to size up and stuff. And who cares if you had to size up because you gained 10 pounds or if you like, I've been super honest about, I lost 170 pounds and this past year with everything I was going through, I regained 15. And I've been super honest with it. And I've told people, I hired a bariatric dietitian to help me and to see what's going on. And, I'll be honest with my sizing and life happens. Like,
exactly. Life happens. And so too, I know you just mentioned Lindsay and Co. And this is something too that I've seen with other influencers who also work in the medical field. How has it been for you as a frontline worker during a pandemic and seeing so much disinformation about COVID and about vaccines and about the efficacy of the vaccines and the safety of them? How has it been for you? And have you felt like you had to use your platform for that? Or were you like, what was that like process like? Because I mean, I know like I have friends that work in healthcare and they've been so frustrated with this entire process. Like they're leaving, they're jumping ships out of the hospitals so fast because they would rather work at an esthetician shop where they can give people Botox because people aren't going to be an asshole to them.
yeah.
How has it been to be not only, an influencer, but one who also has been working on the front lines of this pandemic for the last 2 years?
Horrific. And it has been, I think the biggest thing, it's been such a slap in the face to nurses and doctors and scientists who have, created this life-changing and life-saving vaccine.
Yeah.
And also with nurses that I work with that are not even getting the vaccine. And for different reasons, some people can say, well, we don't know what's in it. And I'm like, if you had American cheese in the last year, you don't know what's in that either.
Exactly.
I have some of like my mom's friends who won't get it, but yet they smoke and they drink. And I think now we're to a point where people are just not getting it because they're stubborn and they just want to put their foot down and say, I don't want to do it because I'm an American. And I don't have to because it's like my right that I don't have to do it. It's also been really hard. I've left work so many times crying and said, our ERs are full, our hospitals are full. We're life flighting people out of our ER because we have nowhere to put them. And I'm driving home from work. The shopping malls are full. The restaurants are full. The bars are full. Nobody's listening to us.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's been the most frustrating thing that I have ever been through. There's been a lot of times where I have to take days off of social media just to like decompress. And I don't think that I would be able to work more than the 2 days a week that I work. The community of people that I have on my social media has been so supportive of me. And a lot of times, recently, I have spoke out a little bit more. I've treaded very lightly on the vaccine because people will come into my DMs and say, like, just kind of harp back about it. And a lot of times I feel like I've completely run out of gas about even informing people about it because they just don't listen.
Yeah, I'm like getting emotional over here. I'm sorry, just like listening to you. It's like I'm like tearing up over here, and I did my makeup really good today.
You look fantastic.
I'm like,
And
don't mess up the under eyes. They look so good today, and not Donald Trump. Like, I don't know. I think it's just because I know your heart, and I know how difficult it's been. Even, you know, like one of my like childhood best friends, I call her my sister. She's a PA, and like she's experienced the same things, and it's like, she's a Republican, like she's conservative, and but she's also a physician's assistant. Like she knows what she's talking about. I call her so many times to ask her questions. Even, you know, I probably called her like a week ago. I think it was like a week or two ago. And I was like, oh my God, I had like a cold, not Corona. I actually had a real cold.
We always have to say that. It's not COVID.
I'm just telling you, I did 2 rapid tests. It was not COVID. I did just have a very bad cold. I have very bad allergies and very bad sinus issues. And so I had taken like 2 Benadryl, and then my Benadryl was sitting in the medicine cabinet next to my Advil, and I had a horrible headache, like sinus headache. So then I took what I normally take for Advil. Mm-hmm. It wasn't for Advil. It was for Benadryl. So I had a total of 6 Benadryl, and it was like 250 milligrams of Benadryl. And I called her and I was like, am I going to die in my sleep? Like panicking. And like, she's like, how many milligrams is it? And I was like, 250. And she goes, we give that in the ER for people that come in with concussions, people that have, you know, extreme stuff. It's going to dry you out. You're going to be dehydrated. So like drink up a lot of water. But it's like, even I call her all the time for stuff. So especially during the pandemic, I was calling her all the time, and I was like, what the heck's going on? And she's been so frustrated with the fact that like people come in scared to death when they have COVID, that they're going to die, but they're not scared enough to get the vaccine.
I think the biggest thing too is, you know, you don't want our help until you can't breathe, but then you want our help. And it blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. And the way that I know that like my sister's been treated, we're talking verbal and physical violence. I can only imagine the types of things that, you know, you're experiencing and that you have. It's just like, I just don't understand why people are so angry at frontline workers for just doing their jobs. Or asking family members, because I'm a hospice nurse, so we're dealing with people at the end of life. And I mean, just the difference in the way that you have to prepare a COVID body. I mean, it's immoral, and it's not a usual way. You know, like I'm used to getting a patient extremely beautiful when they pass, and at a COVID death, you can't do that. Every, you know, opening in their body has to be completely wrapped and closed, and you know, so it's moral injury is what they're actually calling it for health. For frontline workers, that it's not how we're morally used to doing things. Yeah. And so it's
I number one, I can't imagine being a hospice nurse to begin with. I you know, I have family members, 2 of them that are on hospice right now, and I've had several on hospice in the last couple of years, and all the hospice nurses, the things that you see and that you do every day, like people don't really think about it. And now, especially with like seeing it within my own family, I don't think my family would have been able to get through those last days had we not had the hospice nurses who truly are like angels walking into the house every time they come. So thank you for your service there. Thank you for doing that. And I'm like getting emotional all over again. Why are you making me cry today?
I love being a hospice nurse. I truly do. I love my little hospice patients. But the thing that is so frustrating is a lot of times we're not having enough capacity to care for just our hospice patients right now because we're thinking of end of life COVID patients. And so just because the healthcare system is so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I love my little hospice patients.
I'm the nurse that took care of my grandmother, and she actually passed today, 2 years ago. She actually was not only my grandmother's hospice nurse, but she also taught me at like gymnastics when I was little. And so I've known her basically my whole life. And I had no idea that she was my grandmother's hospice nurse until after my grandmother had passed. And I had posted about it on my social media, letting everyone know, because I'm the one that, I'm the writer of the family. So, just kind of informing people that she had passed. And Alicia reached out and she was like, I loved going there every day. And just like hearing the stories that like from her about how my grandmother was, even up until like her last day, it was hysterical to me, because they still retain so much of their personality, even at that point in their life, which I wasn't exposed a lot to death growing up. I wasn't allowed to go to a funeral until I was like 13.
Right.
And I wasn't allowed to go to an open casket funeral until I was like 16. So it's like my parents wanted to kind of protect that innocence. So a lot of this stuff, like I just have not had experiences with death in the same way that other people have growing up. But now in my late 20s, now everyone's starting to freaking die on me. So I'm just like, good God.
And I'll pull up a chair and say what are you most excited for about like going to heaven? And people will actually tell me, and because everybody avoids talking about death. I had a patient one time, I walked in her room and she started crying and she's like, I'm just really sad. And I was like, why? She's like, I was hoping the next time I woke up, I would be seeing Jesus.
Oh my God.
Sad. Go away. And I said, I'm so sorry. And she goes, can you imagine how amazing it's going to be to meet him?
Oh my God.
I was like, you're right. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not him.
Sorry, I just got to come in and check on you.
I was like, do you want medicine? She goes, if it'll get me there quicker.
Oh my God, that's funny. That's
hysterical.
There's you probably do follow her. I actually reached out to her to have her on the podcast because I binge watched everything that she has out there. Her name is Hospice Nurse Julie.
On TikTok.
Yes. I'm obsessed with her because I love this. I love her, like how she's normalizing the death experience. And I think that there's so much death around us right now that I think it's one of those weird niches, yet again, a weird niche, but that's so relevant right now in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of all of just like the turmoil around the world. It's like every day there's another news cycle of just more death and destruction, that it's like normalizing that and helping to destigmatize death is such a fascinating thing. But I'm obsessed with her. I didn't know if you knew who she was. I'm very fascinated by this stuff. And I love also just like hearing some of her stories, like, this woman had died. I had to do the 2-minute check on her. And, where you listen for heartbeat or breathing signs for 2 minutes, I think that you guys have to do. And, let the woman's daughter have time with her. And then she went back in to, do the check. And the woman just rolled over and looked at her. And then she was like, oh my God. And then she went to go get the family. And then when they came back, she was actually passed at that point.
Yeah.
But like, she woke back up and just looked at her and was like, hey. And I was like, what? And she was like, it's the craziest day that I've ever had. So I just think it's so fascinating. Hospice nurses, especially, I just think now with me having so many family members going through the process, us lining up hospice care for, members of my family, I'm like, more power to you, because I couldn't do it, because I'm way too emotionally attached to everything. I'm too emotionally attached to a television show. There's no way I could work in like anything like that. I honestly could not. So we're going to take one more quick break, and then we come back. We're going to change tune a little bit. We're going to have a little fun with some rapid fire questions. Alrighty, we are back with Maddie. I love to wrap up each episode with just a fun little game of rapid fire questions. So I'm going to just give you a series of questions. I'll give you like 5 to 10 seconds to answer it. Sometimes I also like to chime in and give you like what my answer would be too, because sometimes I just think it's relevant. So I'll start off with one that is just like a really well-known one that I ask everybody, but who is your celebrity crush?
Ben Affleck.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm actually very thrilled about him and J-Lo being back together.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of him over A-Rod. Sorry, not sorry.
I love baseball players though, but he's hot.
Yeah. Oh my God. Ben Affleck's he's just yum. I always forget that he was also married to Jennifer Garner.
Oh, yes. Didn't he cheat on her?
I think he did cheat on her.
Oh.
I mean, he was also like, he had to go to like rehab. Like he was having a lot of issues.
I'm going just on looks though alone.
Yeah. Looks alone. Yes. Mine will always and forever be Andy Cohen.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, please call me Andy.
You guys would be a great couple.
Like, let's go on a date, or you can just give me my own show on Bravo. Thanks.
Yes.
Your favorite fast food French fry?
McDonald's.
Fire one. Mine's Chick-fil-A, which is like which is like makes me a very terrible gay, but like who cares? I just like they're just fries. I'm sorry. Like, sorry. Nobody else has a waffle fry. Your go-to playlist on Spotify right now?
My go-to playlist. I like rap music.
Oh, yes. I tell people all the time, like, I would, if I could like own a bar, I would play nothing but 80s and 90s hip hop.
Yes, 90s rap.
Like,
give me the Yin Yang twins up in here.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
Do some booty work. Yeah.
I thrive on it. Right now I'm into this like weird Christian music exercise, like workout playlist. I was getting down, and then I realized one of the songs that came on was this song called Heartbeat. And I was like, wait a minute, I know this. And I was like, oh my God, this was a song that the Dance Moms people did a group routine to. This is a Christian song?
Wait, I have Christian music and then rap and then Christian music and rap. And somebody was like, you'll love Lecrae. And I'm like, no, I like
I like gangster rap, like hood rap, and then I will go to my worship music. Thank you.
Yes,
I don't need Lecrae, but I appreciate what he does for people. But yeah, okay, love that. What is your go-to beauty product you can't live without?
Okay, the Tom Ford foundation.
It's a good one, but I can't justify the price.
It's so expensive.
I can't do it. I like my cheap $10 foundation from Target.
Okay, so see, I'm on Accutane right now because of my cystic acne.
Yeah.
So I just got it as like a present to myself, and I really freaking love it.
It's so good.
I did not want to love it.
I know.
Yeah, I just got the ultra creamy Shape Tape to give me a little more moisture because my skin's so dry, and I do like the ultra creamy Shape Tape. Do you use Shape Tape?
I don't, because I think that there's other options available, and I don't really like. I think there's more affordable options that are not an $18 concealer.
Yeah.
Is Shape Tape good? Yes. But my go-to foundation just for like an everyday is the Covergirl Skin Milk.
Okay.
It's vegan, cruelty-free, comes in a lot of shades. I love it.
I need to try it.
It's $10. $10. And then like, that's like an everyday look. Like I put it on every morning and I just like throw it on with like a foundation brush and call it a day. But I also really like the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. If I'm going like out, or like today I'm on camera. So I did like full glam, not really full glam, but we did a little more today than we normally do. I add those two together and it's just like the perfect, like creamy. It's just very luminous. I'm into luminous. I'm not into matte. Not into it anymore. I want my skin to look like J-Lo, so I want a little glow. But my favorite concealer is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. $6.
Oh my God.
I have it on today.
Me and my sister, that's how we found you, was a makeup tutorial at her house and we fell in love with you.
Oh my God, stop. No way.
Yes.
That's how you found me?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was probably almost 2 years ago.
I was going to say, I used to do so many and then I just stopped because I was like, it's just, people don't understand how time consuming it is to film this stuff. And then you have to edit it. We were talking about this before we started recording. Pause on the rapid fire questions. I think it is so frustrating that people do not understand how much time and effort goes into posting a photo for us. If it's an ad, if it's sponsored content, if it's anything, there's 3 months worth of work before you even get there.
Also, can we stop paying influencers with product? Because that is like paying a plumber with a plunger. Basically,
here's something too for anybody that's listening. If you're an aspiring influencer or if you're new to the industry, do not take free product from anyone. Mm-hmm. If they don't want to pay you, tell them to circle back around when they have the budget. Mm-hmm. Because once you accept something for free once, they're never going to pay you for it.
Never.
And I'll be very honest. I did an ad when I was first starting out with a men's makeup line. Thought it was an interesting concept. Number one, the product was terrible. Number two, I took it for free. They stopped replying to my emails about doing a paid collab. Just stopped replying because at that point they already had the content, and there was no contract involved. So what were they doing? Running it as an ad. Free content, free advertising. They didn't have to pay for anything. They sent me their products. They got everything out of that. So don't ever take things for free when you're first starting out. I understand you want free clothes. We all love it. Yeah. But you take the free clothes after you sign a contract that says they're going to pay you a rate.
Yep. Or I'll say you can send them to me and I'll give them a try and see how I like them. Mm-hmm. And then I'll get back with you. If it's a product, I need at least 2 weeks to try. Yeah, 2 weeks or a month, to try it, see how it is. If it's a food product, I need to try all the flavors.
Exactly.
See how it is. I need, if it's a food one, I need multiple of it to try it a couple different times.
Yeah.
And here's my media kit with my rates.
Yes. If you don't have a media kit, there's so many websites. I just found a really cool one. It's mediakits.com.
Oh, and okay.
It basically is a web page that is your media kit, and it pulls all of your stuff in. And so it's let's say, I got 100 followers today, you're going to live, kind of like on Social Blade where you can see the live, followings. Oh. It's just like that. It's like the ticker kind of thing, which I thought was so interesting. I saw it on TikTok today and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
That's awesome. I use Social Blue Book for do you do Social Blue Book for my rates or whatever? Do you have management?
I don't have management. I do everything on myself. I do everything myself. Mm-hmm. I have never been approached to be managed, and I've never approached anyone to be managed. Right now, I think it's manageable for me, and I'm kind of a control freak. And so I really like to kind of control everything. The one thing that I do wish that I had was more time in the day to seek out and actually pitch brands. It's something I put on my to-do list every single day, and it always gets bumped till the end of the week because I'm so busy all the time. So that's the one thing that I wish, but there's so many other ways for brands, for you to find brands and to easily pitch them. Don't just go and DM them on Instagram. Find websites. There's tons. I love Aspire IQ. I use that one a lot. That's a really, really good one. There's tons out there though. There's so many. But yeah, make sure you know what you're doing. And if you have questions, ask somebody else.
Yes.
DM me, honey. I'll give you all the tea. I'll give you all the tips. I'll be like, listen, here's how I failed. Here's how I, messed myself up. Here's what you do. Here's what you don't do. Don't agree to anything without a written contract either, especially if there's money involved.
Yes.
You will get screwed over. And
it took me a long time to realize that you need a written contract. And if they say, I don't have one, say you need one.
Yeah.
We're not working together.
We're not working together until there is one. And if you don't understand anything about a legal contract, I have worked in sales. I know everything about a legal contract. I can tell you what is in it. But also, I kind of love that aspect. Like, I love when I get a contract because I'm like, let me go through here real quick. Because some brands are a snake in the grass. They will hide stuff in that contract thinking that you are not going to read it and then that you get screwed over. So read the damn contract. And if you don't understand what it says, DM me and I'll tell you what perpetuity means. I've had so many people that are like massive influencers that don't know what perpetuity is. And they've reached out and they're like, I don't understand this contract. I heard that you can help. You helped so-and-so. I won't drop names. But, I heard that you helped so-and-so. Can you let me know what's in this? And I'm like, oh, well, they want to use that photo in their advertising in perpetuity, which means for forever. Mm-hmm. No, you need to put a usage rights thing in. You need to counter back. We need to talk about this. And they're like, oh, I just know.
Yep.
I'm like, what? Like, you have 400,000 followers and you didn't know what this meant? I'm like, girl, what did you do? What was your career before this? Like, I don't understand. But it once again goes back to, it's yet another day I didn't need to know the quadratic formula. But how to read a contract and how to do all this other stuff, I did need to know because I have to do it on a daily basis. You do it when you get a credit card. You do it when you sign up with a bank. You have a contract. There's a contract for everything. Marriage is a freaking contract, for Christ's sake. So, okay, enough about that. I have a couple more rapid fire questions. I'm over here. I could go on for days about this stuff because it just pisses me off the way that brands go after smaller influencers and baby influencers. I'm very protective of them. I get like a father sense about me. I'm like, don't mess with these kids. Take a deep breath, Patrick. Don't get winded. My watch just told me to breathe. Hate when it does that. I'm like, listen, I'm breathing. Okay. Just rapidly. What is your favorite movie?
Crash.
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't seen that movie in years.
I love that movie.
Is it on a streaming service? I want to watch it today.
I don't know. I love movies that all come together at the end, and it's about like social and racial injustice in California.
So good. I haven't seen that in forever.
I love that movie.
Still Magnolias.
I have never seen it.
What? You've never seen this movie?
No. We need to have a sleepover.
I'm like, listen, it's on Amazon. It's on, I think it's on Hulu if you have the live TV thing. I don't. It's on Amazon Prime though for like $2, $3 or something. I own it, so I watch it on my iPad all the time. It's Dolly Parton, Julia Roberts.
Is it sad?
Sally Fields. It's so funny. The entire thing is funny. The ending is very sad, but it's one of the most beautiful sadnesses, like one of like the most beautiful sad moments in like film history. Like
I need to watch it.
It is I need you to watch it, and then I need you to try and figure out which character I am because there's one character and I am her. She is me. I am her. It's so good. It's so good. So you'll laugh until you cry, and then you'll cry until you laugh. It's the best movie of all time. Sorry to anyone out there that disagrees with me. You're wrong. What is your favorite book?
Oh my gosh, that is.
Or like, what's the last book you read? I'm into reading right now.
Untamed.
Okay.
Is that Untamed?
I've never heard of it.
Wait, is it called Untamed by Glennon Doyle?
Oh yeah, I think it's Untamed.
That was the last book that I read. But my favorite book is called P.S. I Love You, and
like the movie.
Yes. And it is about, have you seen that?
I think I've seen the movie. It came out in like the early 2000s.
It's about a girl who's like always friend zoned. And that was like my life growing up. I was always like the friend zoned girl.
Same. That's me now, still. It's just because people just don't, I'm a little intimidating. I've heard that on a date before, that I'm intimidating.
Nobody can handle us.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I'm a lot and I get it. But, some people say I'm a lot. I say I'm just getting started.
Yeah, it's true.
Shannon Bedore's tagline on season 14 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. That right there. That's a direct quote from my girl, Shannon Bedore. I love, my favorite book of all time is To Kill a Mockingbird, because I grew up really close to where Harper Lee, the author, was born, and I was in the stage production of it in her hometown, and it's like a big hoorah to die. We were in National Geographic magazine, and I toured all over the country doing it. It was fabulous. But right now I'm reading, I'm rereading it, but it's the I gotta look at it. It's by Barack Obama.
Oh yeah.
Where's I
have it on my Kindle.
The Audacity of Hope. It's the one that he wrote before he was president.
I have his other one.
A Promised Land. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, this one was very interesting because I was like, I wanted to know a little bit more about his life before he was the president. And so just a lot of the stuff in it. I'm like, wow, his kind of theology and his way of viewing everything was very consistent throughout his entire presidency before he was even running for president. When he was a senator, I was like, this is insane. How consistent he was. So rereading that one for the third time now, because I just love to go back and reread it and remember the good times in America.
Same.
I know. I miss it every day. I'm like, I love you, Joe, but bring Barack and Michelle back, please.
Right.
The actual king and queen. I'm obsessed with her. I have it on my I have my bio set on a couple of my dating apps where it's where your dream dinner guest, Michelle Obama. I would just love to sit down and I don't even have to talk. I just want to sit next to her at dinner.
In her presence.
I just want to be in her presence. Just one time. So do what?
I love them both.
Oh my God, I adore them. I truly adore them. Well, I want everyone to be able to follow you and know where all your stuff is and everything about you. So why don't you drop your handles for social media and then your website, because I love all of the recipes that you have on there.
Sure. So my handle is Maddie5088. And my website is foodfitnessandbeauty.com. And those are the places where you can catch me. I also have a public Facebook page that is Mornings with Maddie, if you are hip to Facebook.
Love that. There's especially people that are a little older than us. They're very into Facebook.
Yes. I have and TikTok is Maddie5088 as well. I try and keep that. I got too deep into it before I could change that. And so I think I'm just kind of stuck with it now.
Yeah. You could, at least you have something like Mornings with Maddie. There's nothing fun you can do with Patrick.
I love it.
Nothing
it's Patrick Weaver blog, and
it's just Patrick Weaver blog. I am the brand, so my name might as well be that. It's just what else am I supposed to be? Honestly, it's just Patrick Weaver blog on everything. So if you are coming to the podcast or to me through Maddie, all of my handles on every single social media platform is Patrick Weaver blog, and then you can find my website is patrickweaverblog.com.
Yes.
So that's it. That's all for this episode of Behind the Filter. Maddie, thank you so much for coming on. I have had a blast just sitting here and doing this. We have to do this again soon with wine. and just chat about everything. And I just want to let you know how appreciative I am that you are here. I love this conversation. I know everyone listening is going to love it as well. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify. If you haven't, also give us a 5-star rating and a raving review. I always love to feature some of those reviews on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at @BehindTheFilterPod. And that is it. That is all. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with another look behind the filter.